Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today is a nice section where we'll hear um, the episode about Aswadama, how he killed the Pandava sons, and then the dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna specifically. We'll hear today. So I think it's Rukmini Mataji. When are you ready? You can start, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devin Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayan. Nastapraya Parishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we're continuing Canto 1, Chapter 7, verses 20 to 39. Since his life was in danger, he touched water in sanctity and concentrated upon the chanting of the hymns for throwing nuclear weapons, although he did not know how to withdraw such weapons. 21. Thereupon, a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger. And so he began to address Lord Sri Krishna. 22. Arjuna said, O my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the Almighty Personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only. 23. You are the original personality of Godhead, who expand himself all over the creations and is transcendental to material energy. You have cast away the effects of the material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. 24. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of the material energy, you executed the four principles of liberation, characterized by religion, and so on for the ultimate good of the conditioned souls. 25. Thus, you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. 26. O Lords of Lord, how is it that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand it. 27. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has haplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death. 28. O Arjuna, another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon. 29. Sri Shuta Goswami said, hearing this from the personality of Godhead, Arjuna touched water for purification. After circumambulating Lord Shri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the other one. 30. When the rays of the two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire, like the disk of the sun, covered all outer space and the whole firmament of planets. 31. All the population of the three worlds were scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samavarta fire, which takes place at the time of annihilation. 32. Thus, seeing the disturbance of the general populace of the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons, as Lord Shri Krishna desired. 33. Arjuna, his eyes blazing like anger, like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. 34. After binding Ashwatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood. 35. Lord Sri Krishna said, O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmabandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep. 36. A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. 37. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own actions. 38. Furthermore, I have personally heard you promise Draupadi that you will bring forth the head of the killer of her sons. 39. This man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remnants of his family. Kill him immediately. I'll stop here, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Mother. Yeah, Sunil Prabhuji, whenever you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today I would like to give a brief summary of this chapter, The Son of Drona Punished, chapter 7, Canto 1, with the support of Sundaranand Prabhuji uh, and Vaishnavas, for the pleasure of Vaishnavas. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We'll start with the brief prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति शोभदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Yesterday's Himanshu Prabhu has actually covered from up to verse 19. So the brief overview of this chapter, the son of Drona was punished. It started with Vyasadeva's vision and glories of Bhagavatam soon after the departure of Narad and his instructions. Vyasadeva, in his deep meditation in the western bank of Saraswati River at Hermitage, his Hermitage, Samya Prasak. So at that place, when in his meditation, he has seen Krishna and Maya together in the position of Maya, and Krishna were completely revealed to him. And he has also witnessed a wonderful um, influence of Maya on the jivas, and also the position of Krishna with respect to everything. And with that revelation, he also has exhibited a compassion. He felt a mood of compassion by witnessing the suffering that Jiva has experienced due to Maya. And he also contemplated that the Bhakti Yoga is the only solution for Jivas. And the results of hearing Bhagavatam were also wonderfully explained. Yeshyam, and the result is to to come out of this Shoka, Moha, and Bhaya. So that is in verse 7. This is one of the wonderful verses which were covered yesterday. And later on, Vyasadeva teaches Bhagavatam to Sukadeva Goswami, uh, and with the topics covered in verse 8, 9, 10, and 11 is a revision of Bhagavatam overall. Um, so how the uh, Vyasa has revised Anukramya by the prominence of Krishna Bhakti in the verse 8, and then Saunika Rishi also mentioned about two different methods in verse 9, that for the path of self-realization. One is Nivritti Marga and another one is Pravritti Marga. So Pravritti Marga being the following, the sense, controlled sense gratification as prescribed in the Vedic uh, s- scriptures, whereas the Nivritti Marga is a detached method like Mandicans, as well as the uh, ashrama where brahmacharis live in. So that is the Nivritti Marga. And Suta Goswami has replied, why did, for the question answered, why did we take trouble in, why did Sukadeva Goswami took trouble, though he is Atmarama, why did he took trouble in reading Srimad Bhagavatam and reciting Srimad Bhagavatam later? So why did he at all spend time reading Srimad Bhagavatam extensively? Then Suta Goswami replied, very popular, prominent in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Atma Ramascha Munayo's verse, and which indicated even Atma Ramas get attracted to the Krishna Katha. And then becoming absorbed in Krishna's qualities were discussed. Later, lamentation of Pandava's sons for the, Ashwatthama killed 5 sleeping sons, and Draupadi's lamentation, like a cow who has lost um, her calves. The lamentation of Draupadi was described, and later Arjuna. Today we will cover how Arjuna has captured Ashwatthama from verses 19 to 20, Brahmastra. Um, so Brahmastra, seeing his life in danger, what happened was his horses were exhausted, and no alternative was found by by Ashwatthama, who is fleeing away from Arjuna when he's trying to capture them. So from verse 20, uh, and actually from verse 19 itself, the topic about Brahmastra was described. So and if you concentrate on a specific word called Dvijat Dvijatmajaha, the son of a Brahmana, he was described as a Dvijatmajaha, who Ashwatthama. Um, And what it signifies is Brahmana is not a title which is inherited. And that was described. And most intelligent men are called Brahmana, not the one who inherits it or becomes a friend of Brahmana. And verse 20 also continues, and it is described that since his life was in danger, he touched water in sanctity and concentrated on chanting of hymns and throwed a nuclear weapon. So Arjuna soon after witnessing this, the glare of this in the verse 21, it is described this weapon has caused glaring light spread in all directions, which was so fierce that and also Arjuna felt fearfulness and danger. He could see the danger coming up and began to address Lord Sri Krishna. So soon after he saw the danger coming upon, he immediately remembered Krishna, and he took shelter of Krishna, and he started praying from verse 20 to 26. So Arjuna's prayers were recited from verse 20 to 26. And Krishna is the ultimate shelter. That is how actually Arjuna has glorified in this verse. Only you can save. Tvam eko dahyamanayam. So if we compare it with our Samsara Dhavanala verse that we recite every day, uh, it is mentioned by even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So uh, the forest fire emanated um, from the material nature, and material nature, and the jiva suffers. So from that, how how similarly here, if we can compare it with the Tvameko Dahyamanayam. So that means who are suffering from this material nature, and and the life in the material nature. So what the fear that comes out of that association with material nature. So Arjuna is mentioning, you are the only solution. You are the ultimate shelter for such people like me in such situations. So Arjuna is well aware of the transcendental qualities of Sri Krishna. That is what Prabhupada is highlighting in the purport, and he has experienced the greatness of Sri Krishna in the Kurukshetra war. So Arjuna's version of, since Arjuna has already witnessed and is very close to Krishna, he is the authoritative source for us because he's representing Krishna. So Krishna is almighty and especially cause of the fearlessness for any jivas and devotees who took shelter of him. So uh, because of the protection given by the Krishna, the devotees act fearless. Verse number 23. So it was mentioned. I was actually listening to Radhisham Prabhu's class yesterday. He was mentioning, a couple of mm, you know text 23, there in the line number 3, mayam vyudasya chikshaktya. So Krishna is described as transcendental, and Krishna is described that he can throw out the effects of the material energy. He can cast away the effects of material energy by the dint of his spiritual energy. And just like as Himanshu Prabhu was highlighting yesterday, as sun creates clouds, sun is the cause for the clouds, which is compared to Maya, and the clouds cover our vision, jivas. So the same thing can be, um, but the same, even though they are covering our vision, but actually the clouds uh, do not cover the sun. It is just our vision is covered. Sun already is there. It exists, continue to exist. And with the help of sun only, even the clouds get melted away or dissipated away. That is how we have to compare sun with, if we compare with sun with Krishna. Soon after one takes shelter of Krishna, the Maya, which is compared to the clouds, will get disappeared, and the vision gets clearer as we progress in the Bhakti Yoga. Krishna is um, so ignorance is once vanished, and in the verse number 23 it is also mentioned Purushaha Sakshat. Purushaha Sakshat means he is himself the original primeval Lord from whom everything emanates, original personality of Godhead. So Krishna was addressed specifically as original personality of Godhead, who himself is the source of Vishnu. And Ajyaha, that is also meant that he is the original source. And Prakrute Paraha, he was also addressed as is beyond the material modes, and nothing can affect him in the material nature, though he is walking on the surface of the earth. So and here it was specifically highlighted by Prabhupada. Existence of darkness depends on the existence of sun. So even darkness existence is depending on the sun's existence. Similarly, Maya's existence is because of the existence of Krishna only. But in the proper sun, there is no trace of darkness. So similarly, when there is a proper attachment to Krishna, there is no um, trace of Maya in one's life. And Tasmadevam Harim Priche. So we can mm, and Krishna was also addressed as Mayam Vyudasya and Chit Shaktya. That means he casts away with the material dint of his material, his spiritual potency, he can cast away the effects of material energy from our lives. And text number 24 talks about the merciful nature of Lord Krishna. So the Arjuna continues to recite his prayers for Krishna for protection. So this is continuation. So merciful nature of Krishna was highlighted. Someone more qualified take up. Uh, so actually takes up the Panchama Purusharthas Bhakti, and so Purusharthas are basically highlighted here, in in the purport, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma means eternal occupation, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So doesn't mean eternal occupation. Sorry, Dharma means one's own occupation in for his livelihood in one of the four ashramas. So we perform dharma, and that is a lifestyle where earlier, as we discussed, two different types of self-realization. In one of the self-realization method, we do dharma to gain artha, uh, and within the limits prescribed by the Vedic life. We do dharma to gain the artha, which is opulence. And similarly, we gain artha to perform, uh, to fulfill the desires, kama. And similarly, we do all this to gain moksha. So not moksha means go back to Godhead. So that is the one of the method. But the ultimate method, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prescribed, is ahetukya pratihata. And such philosophy is so flawless that there is uh, such a philosophy is nabhuto na bhavishyat, as described by yesterday Radhesham Prabhu was describing such a method. If we follow as prescribed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, without any material motivation, bhakti is performed, and without interruption, when bhakti is performed, the outcome will be without expecting anything. That is a proper bhakti. And uh, and here in verse 24, it was mentioned that Krishna comes to reclaim the fallen souls who are captivated by illusory energy. Out of his causeless mercy, he does that. So that is a kindness of Krishna. And in text 25, he also Arjuna describes the why Krishna descends. What is the reason for the descent of Krishna? So we can compare it with the Paritranaya Sadhunam verse. It's because Bhuvo Bhara Jihir Shaya. That means in order to remove the burden of the world, um, from the sinful acts of miscreants, he comes. Paritranaya Sadhunam. Vinashaya cha dushkrutam. You can compare it with Swanam cha Ananya Bhavanam. So that means those who are exclusively devotees, who are having rapt at meditation upon Krishna in order to satisfy them. He also comes for the second reason. For that reason, we can compare the same with Paritranaya Sadhuna. It appears that Prabhupada said it appears that Lord is partial to devotees, but actually he highlights everyone is related to Krishna. Everyone has equal opportunity, but he is more inclined to the men who are more devoted to him, and jivas who are more devoted to him. So Lord is everyone's father, not just father of devotees, but everyone's father. So there is no question of partiality here. and no one can be his father, yet no one can be his son. But still, he takes the form out of his merciful nature. He actually gives opportunities for jivas, some fortunate jivas to take up a role of father, mother, like that. And verse number 27 to 28, Lord Krishna's response. And Krishna describes the reason why he should act on this heinous act of Ashwatthama. Justifies. And he says, he also clarifies why there is a glare of, there is a um devastating effects of uh, like a samartaka fire uh, in the time of annihilation, why there is such a kind of detonation happening. And because Arjuna was himself addressing earlier Krishna to find out why is it happening. And in verse 27 to 28, Lord Krishna starts responding, right? So here Krishna says, uh, the son of Drona is the reason, and he is actually he has released the weapon out of the fear to get protect, and this is going to cause extinction of life, which is very dangerous act what he has done out of fear. So here Prabhupada describes atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas Brahmastra is a subtle type of weapon produced by chanting hymns. So then this is a subtle material science, which is not spiritual. Um, so here in the olden days, the experts were aware how to retract it, which is perfect knowledge. Whereas right now, in the current modern world, once the atomic bomb is detonated, no one can retract it. That is incomplete science. He applied it, um, being afraid of his imminent death, which is mentioned by Prabhupada. So Ashwadhama is acted here, just being afraid, he acted on unfairly. It is firstly improper and it is secondly irreligious. So that is the justification that Krishna gives. Go ahead and kill him because he has done his acts were both improper and irreligious. Secondly, in text 28, he says, counteract with another Brahmastra. Now you release another weapon and counteract it. Text 29, Arjuna cast Brahmastra as instructed by Krishna. And 30 to 31 effect of the two Brahmastras were described. And the atomic bomb explosion, here Prabhupada says, can at most blow by human being one entire globe at most. But the heat produced by Brahmastra can destroy the whole cosmic situation. The comparison is therefore made to the heat at the time of annihilation. That's why it is mentioned in this verse as Sara Samvrute. Actually, it is compared with Samvartaka fire, I think, in the next verse. Mm, And Prabhupada is highlighting that not just one planet, whatever incident that happened at that time were burning multiple planets um, in the creation. And it had a potency to destroy all the life. And populations of all different planets began to feel the heat. And it is that's why it is compared to Samvartaka fire, which is a fire that is emanated during the time of annihilation. So text 32, understanding will of Lord Krishna, and continuation of prayers for Arjuna. So seeing the disturbance of general populace, Arjuna at once retracted Brahmastra as Krishna desired. So he acted according to the desire of Krishna, and, which is so wonderful. Um, so and text number 33, and here it was mentioned by Prabhupada, the world cannot be destroyed by atomic bombs. It is a childish imagination because firstly, atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the entire world. Secondly, it all rests on the supreme will of the Lord for such destruction, not on the whims of a tiny politician. That is highlighted by Prabhupada. 33 to 34, arresting the Ashwatthama. So Ashwatthama, according to Sridhar Swami, Arjuna was obliged to catch his son of Brahmana like an animal as part of his duty. He catched a son of a Brahmana as an animal because that was his duty, dharma. And later, Ashwadhama was a bona fide son of Dronacharya and Kupi. But because he had degraded himself to lower status of life, it was proper to treat him as an animal, but not as a Brahmana. In text 34, both Arjuna and Sri Krishna are described here in angry mood. And Arjuna's eyes were compared to like balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of Lord were like lotuses, even though both were angry. This means, Prabhupada says, they are not, anger of Arjuna and Krishna are not at the same level. So the Lord is absolute in any stage. Prabhupada highlights here. And his anger, pleasure are the same. But whereas for Jivas it is not the case. Even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. So that's the greatness of sweetness of Krishna. In text number 35 to 58. You can observe that arguments regarding killing of Ashwadhamas begins here, where here Krishna supports killing, whereas Arjuna is actually not so willing to do that. So those conversations start here. And 35 to 39, Lord Krishna supports killing, if you see. And mm, so 35 to 36, if you observe, the reasons that Krishna quotes is he violated the codes of religious war. But if we compare that with Parikshit, he did not kill Kali, even though because he surrendered. Kali, he had the capacity to kill Kali. But Parikshit, according to the religious codes, he did never kill Kali as soon as he surrendered. But here, Ashwatthama, he has violated the codes of religious war because he has killed the sleeping sons who are in the helpless situation. So that is he has broken the codes of religion. So that is the justification one given by Krishna. So, and here we have to see whether any act, heinous act, is it done accidentally or unintentionally? So then, judges usually consider these two things, even in the material world, in the uh, justice system. Similarly, in Vedic society also, we consider whether the act was accidental or unintentional. But here, we can observe that it was act is done carelessly, uh, intentionally, and sometimes they become repeated if they are not punished. So Krishna wants him to be punished. And violence carried out on religious principle is far superior to so-called non-violence, Prabhupada says. A violence to kill a miscreant is on a religious principle is far superior, so-called. Oh, let me not kill him. Let me be non-violent. So here Prabhupada says violence carried out on religious principle is far superior to so-called non-violence. And also animal killing was highlighted in text 37. I'll just take a couple of minutes, dear devotees, and conclude. So animal killing, wretched, was highlighted in text 37. So here, anybody who kills a innocent living being for his own well-being, to stop from here it is highlighted, to stop from killing, degrading him further, uh, to go down, who could potentially go down on his own actions, to protect such sinful act from further sinful activities, for such wretched souls. Here Krishna recommended to punish him, because a cruel and a wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others is supposed to be punished because it's for his own good. Otherwise he will continue, he could go to hell, and could get more difficulties in future. And punishment offered by king here is considered the lowest possible punishment as per Prabhupada. offered as per Smriti Shastras. When punished by king, sinful men are purified of all their sins. So according to Manu also, who is the author of our civic codes and religious principles, killer of an animal is also considered to be a murderer, not just humans, uh, but a killing of unjustly. But also killing of animal is considered a murderer as per the civic codes specified by the Manu, because animal food is never meant for the civilized man, whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. He who gives permission, here Prabhupada also highlights, who gives permission, who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, and at last he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature. That is a danger of meat eating, as Prabhupada highlights here. And material world is itself a place of full of anxieties. Prabhupada says, by encouraging animal slaughter, the whole atmosphere becomes polluted more and more. And that is going to lead to the war, pestilence, famine, and unwanted calamities in society. So Prabhupada actually gives the reality and warning, the repercussions of such heinous acts of killing animals. The animals were also described in one of the purports as prajas, because they are praja in Sanskrit means the one who is born, praja, in the state. So they are also residents of the state. So king is supposed to protect them also. And text 38, he that is the third reason or second reason mentioned by so third reason given by Krishna why he should be punished, because he has promised, Arjuna has promised Draupadi that he would kill him and get his head. That is for that he reminds, Krishna reminds him, don't forget the promise that you did to Draupadi. And 39, concluding verse, Lord Krishna tested, if we observe here, tested Arjuna in dharma, and Arjuna has passed here. And Krutavan Kula Pamshanaha. It is here a man, this Ashwadhama is assassin, murderer of your family members. Not only that, he dissatisfied the master. This is the fifth reason, I think. Is dissatisfied his master, Duryodhana. So he's supposed to be punished for that, for that reason also. He is but the remnant of burnt remnants of his family. So he actually also caused he defamed his family also. That is another reason for killing him. So kill him immediately. These are the reasons quoted by uh, Krishna for punishing him. And now uh, mm, here we can compare it with sometimes kids act adamantly, no, I want to do this, and parents say, no, don't do it, it is not good for you. And he will, and despite of this, he becomes adamant, stubborn. So seeing that, parents usually agree to, okay, go ahead and do it. So the parents agree to this unwillingly, by considering the welfare of this child. But here, which it agreed, parents agreed here, which without agreement is not by heartfelt agreement, but parents agreed because he's so stubborn. So a intelligent disciple is supposed to see uh, a mood behind here I was listening from Gauranga Darshan Prabhu's class that he was mentioned when we see some uh, so we have to read the mind behind the words. Enjoyment, win or lose, whatever it is, the outcome. Um, you know, and a devotee has to read the minds of their guru and act. Sometimes the guru will not be explicit, but we still have to, he will not say no also, sometimes guru, but we have to read his mind as an intelligent disciple and act so that he ultimately is pleased with our acts, our guru. So that's the essence behind this matter. So Arjuna also acted by observing the mood of Krishna on what he desires, though it is though he's unwilling to do, but he still acted as an intelligent disciple here. So we have, as an intelligent disciple, we have to also follow the path of Arjuna. So he also, Arjuna understood that let me not take the call because Draupadi is most affected. He took to Ashwadhama to Draupadi um, in the mood of a servant. So that is another essence that we have to, we can gain from this act of Arjuna. What is more important here is compassion or justice. We have to, this is a to trade off between these two. Is it that I have to be compassionate or you have to perform the justice? So that is the contention in which Arjuna was caught here. So tomorrow, I think the further explanation will reveal what act that Arjuna has taken. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sunil Prabhuji, for sharing nicely, carefully studying, and also summarizing so nicely. Yeah, let's offer obeisance to all the devotees. Vanchakalpatarabhyasya Kupasindubhyevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna,
much.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It was nicely
Hare Krishna.
explained. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.